In this video, we will talk about final rendering in FLUIDRAY. In the previous video, we concentrate the attention on the lighting and how we can light up our scene using lights and artificial lights. And we also saw that we need to go into another 3D software to manage a little bit the scene. Otherwise, of course, we cannot do anything in FLUIDRAY. So we can do the material assignment, environment assignment, change some materials into emissive materials, but the rest we need to do it in another 3D software. And we use Blender, so if you're interested in Blender, you can check our Blender video course, which is open source and free. So in this video, we will finish with FLUIDRAY. We will render some of the previous scenes that we created using environments, or in this case, this was the 3-point lighting studio that we saw. And by the way, you can check the shadows there. Well, using lights together with environments is better because you can create shadows. You can also manage shadows. So if you want like more diffuse lighting, more diffuse shadows, you should use big lights. So in the previous video, we saw we can do that in Blender using large rectangles, which are gonna become then area lights or rectangle lights. Now, when you want to have a spotlight effect, you should use small lights. And with a smaller light, you're gonna have more concentrated light beam, and so also more concentrated shadows. So you're gonna have sharpened shadows instead of diffuse shadows, and sharpen lighting instead of diffuse lighting. So in this way, you can simulate different types of lights that usually are found in studios when you want to do like professional photography or also advertising and so on. So I think it's really important that you know at least one software that can help you to manage the 3D scene, because you cannot do, of course, anything here in FLUIDRAY except the rendering. So FLUIDRAY, again, it's a software which is focused on the rendering part. Everything that comes first or after, you can do it in another software. Now, I made an example with Blender for the pre-production phase. Now in this video, I'm going to show you also some alternatives for the post-production. So that means that when your final render is ready, so we're going to see also how we can increase the settings for the quality, resolution, how we can balance the performance and the quality. So once you get that final render, which is going to be really high quality, then you can move on to other software and enrich your render a little bit. You can do color correction, you can do the adjusting of the exposure. You can also create some blur effect like the depth of field that we saw we can achieve with the camera. In FLUIDRAY, you can do it in post-production using different tools that you find in different software. And also we're gonna give a look to the toolbar there on the top, so that we make sure that we just went through everything here in FLUIDRAY. Again, it's a really simple software, but it's also really fast to learn, fast to use. So again, I will definitely suggest you use it in your project. But for anything else, remember, if you want to check in our channel, you will find a lot of video courses about Blender, and also not only Blender, you will find Maya, Cinema 4D, 3ds Max, and many more. And of course, you can also ask for assistance. You can type your questions in the comments. You can also give suggestions to other users in the channel. So let's proceed here and let's see how we can work a little bit with the render settings, managing how the render is going to look like, and also how we can then move on to the next phase. Now we saw that we can save the image when it's ready. Now in this case, I want to save this rendering here. And the first option you have is JPEG. Now I want to show you also a couple of different ways you can save your work. So in this case, you can see I'm saving this as a JPEG. And this scene in particular doesn't have a transparent background because we actually added the background in Blender. So this is not transparent. So when you save a JPEG or either a PNG or other format, you can have the background. And this scene here, again, that we developed previously with the drill. Now we can change here a little bit the backgrounds. We can do like Photomontage. We can have different background, and we can change also the color. Now another option is to assign a different color to the background so that we can have like a green screen. Now in many software like After Effects or video editing and photo editing, they use the chroma key or the blue screen or the green screen to get rid of the background. So this is one way you can also easily then save the image and get rid of the background. And you can adjust the gain also if you want. So we can manage a little bit the background here, but there are really simple things that you can do doing Photomontage in FLUIDRAY. So these are really the basic things that you can do. Now I'm gonna remove the background. I'm gonna leave the environment. You can see now we have the environment. Now we cannot take off the environment because otherwise we're gonna lose all those variety of lights that are gonna affect the object and also the reflections. But what we can do to get rid of the background is just save the image as a PNG. Now the PNG has 4 channels instead of 3 like the JPEG. So these are really basic graphic design basics, so you probably know it if you already work in digital media, but I'm going to explain it for those of you who are less expert, and then we will move on to more complex topics. So I've saved this as a PNG, and when I save as a PNG, I can save the alpha channel. So the background is, the environment is visible here, but is not visible if I click on that icon there, the 4th channel, which is the alpha channel. So this is showing me actually if the image is going to have a transparent background, which is represented by that checkerboard, or if not, if there is a background that I cannot get rid of. In this case, I can. So when you use environments, you can always hide them. So you can just use it for the purpose of lighting and for the purpose of reflection, but then you can change the background to whatever you want, either here in FLUIDRAY or in another software. Now, if I open the folder, you can see that the image, I can see that it's transparent because it's showing me the background of my windows. So the window is gray, so I'm gonna see the background gray, and I can apply this anywhere. So this is excellent if you want to create infographics in other video editing software, or if you want to create logos, or again, if you want to do photo montages in other photo editing tools. Now you can see there the red, the green, the blue channels. So these are additive colors, which means that if I add all those colors, I'm gonna get white color. And you also have psi and epsilon k, which is another method. It's not in here, but you will find it like in Photoshop or GIMP or other software. So in this case, we use RGB and then the 4th channel, which is alpha channel. And when you activate all of them, you get the full picture. Now, let's see also some other tools that we have here in the toolbar that we didn't encounter yet. Now we are, of course, know how to go back and forward. So undo, redo, and then we can also go here and do fit viewport. Now, probably since the beginning, you worked with a zoom window here, but that's not gonna show you the whole picture. When you do fit, it's gonna fit the image exactly there, but it's gonna scale it. So it's not in the real scale size, but it's gonna fit it to see the whole picture. So you have these options. So it's like zooming, but not with the 3D scene, just with our frame here. Now down there, you can see what illumination are using. So right now we're using global illumination, and also you can see the resolution, the frame per second, and also the quality, which is expressed by the SPP, sample per pixel, and you can see that it's really high. That value is really high. It's about 500 or 600. So that's a really high value because I set up this rendering to be the highest quality. So it's gonna take a lot of time to figure out more with accuracy the global illumination. It's all about global illumination in the end. So the more you increase the quality, the more